All right, guys, let's get to it. Oh, another 4 in the waiting room. Admit all. We'll let them come. All right. D, ready, my man?
Yeah, I'm ready for you, man.
Awesome, bro. Well, first of all, appreciate you coming on, man. Ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and introduce Mr. Daniel Rosales, Senior Sales Manager, Hall of Fame producer. Made it happen last year, bro. Congratulations on my good friend. How you doing?
Thank you, man. Good, man. Thanks for having me on, brother. I really appreciate you.
Of course, bro. Appreciate you making the time.
Absolutely.
So I'm just people are gonna keep popping in, but I'm just going to let them in as we start, okay?
No worries.
So, D, let's get straight to it, bro. Actually, tell us about some of the training that went on right now at the Apple Valley office. Were you there?
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude, it was really good.
It was good.
It's just, yeah, the one thing that I think is crazy is like every time you hear a good training, and what I took away from it was just like, man, it's just a lot of reminders, right? A lot of reminders, like, being a new agent last year and seeing, I mean, 1 year, seeing what you could accomplish here, and then kind of hearing it from them, and then kind of hearing these reminders, and you're thinking again in that place where you got to be at, to make it happen this year. You know what I mean? Keeping that consistency. So it was good, man. I liked it. Enjoyed it.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, that's awesome, man. One of our guys, Derek, was there. So, but yeah, let's get into it. Some people are trying to learn. People are trying to learn. So let's get to it deep. So you've been obviously not too long in the business, right? What has it been? A little over a year?
A little over a year.
About a year. Okay.
A year and like hitting about a year and 2 months now.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So whoever doesn't know you, give us a little rundown of what you did before this, how you got introduced to FFL, and a backstory, just like everybody else has. How was the door open for you?
Yeah, man. So a little backstory of me, man, since I was able to actually get a job, I worked in the shopping mall. First job, I was selling those, I don't know, you guys probably remember those balance bracelets, right? Where there was little rubber bands, you give you balance and flexibility and all that stuff. It was an hourly job, Rob. So I was getting paid hourly to sell these bracelets. And right away, man, I think it was like, as I was working there after a few months and getting the pay and seeing where hourly cap had me at. And I was a top sales guy there, dude, because I was just a real people's person. I enjoyed talking to people. I just really, had a lot of energy, just like doing what I was doing. But from that, dude, I started wholesaling the bracelets out of Los Angeles, and I went to the swap meets, dude, and started selling them. I started really just hustling.
Damn, hustling for real. Awesome.
So after that, brother, I got into kiosks. I liked them all, but I got into commission only. So I was on 30% comp off everything I sold in the malls. So I sold, skincare products, hair straighteners, makeup, cell phone cases. I've sold a lot of different products in the mall. But, that still kind of was capped, right? After the 30%, there was still that next level, right? We always want to kind of get to that next spot of making more income. So that's when I had saved up money, from the commissions I was making, and I opened up my own spot. So I opened up a kiosk of my own in Moreno Valley Mall, because all the other malls for that particular product that I was selling, they were taken up. So Moreno Valley Mall was the mall that I was able to get into. And I was there for 5 years, man. 5 years. 5 years in the Moreno Valley Mall, hustling straighteners and training a team there. I had a team of 4 employees that were on commission, and I taught them the game, how to stop people in the mall, all of that. So what really brought me to Family First Life was that, that when the pandemic had hit, the pandemic had shut down my business. So, I was one of the ones that was affected by the pandemic, and the malls closed. I had one of the nicest apartments at the Riverside, bro. One of the nicest spots. I was good because I had learned the business that well to be consistent with, the employees being trained up, with sales happening all month. And the pandemic shut me down, but the mall rent didn't stop. So the expenses didn't stop in the mall. They kept charging me rent every month, which was about
real life.
$2,500. Got product inventory sitting there. It can't be sold. My apartment lease was coming to an end. I had to make a decision, man. The decision was, we didn't know what it looked like, man. This was the moment when everybody was running around for toilet paper and stuff, man.
All that, weird time.
Nobody knew what was going on. So, man, I had to move. I had to make a move. I came back up to the high desert. I stayed with my mom and pops for a little bit, and I ran across Family First Life just going through Instagram. I was just on the Instagram stories. I saw one of the girls. I saw one of a coworker I used to work with doing hair shows, different stuff I was doing, and she had a picture with a client, just selfie with the client. That was all it was, selfie with the client, and I in a house with a mask on. And I said, hey, what are you doing? I just asked her, hey, what are you doing? Who is that? I was kind of curious, and she just told me, hey, I helped the client get life insurance. And yeah, man, I mean, life insurance was the last thing I ever thought I'd get into, just because, I worked in the malls, brother, so there was always agents trying to recruit me in there with different companies. But man, when I heard about the comp here, I just jumped all over it, man. I was like, wow, 100%, like, dude, I'm in. Tell me how to do this,
So you did your study material after that, right? And how long from the studying to the test did it take you? Did you lag on it, or you jumped at it, got it done soon?
No, man, because coming out of that pandemic situation, my money had stopped. So I was actually, before even swiping on that on Instagram and seeing that, post, I was thinking I was going to become a barber. So I was cutting my brother's hair at home. I was trying to, become a barber. Dude, I was trying to just do whatever was going to work with the pandemic being done. I was just trying to figure it out. So yeah, dude, from right when I saw the opportunity with FFL, from start to finish, I would say I got into the course. I knocked it out in 5 days, and my test was booked about a week and a half after that. So I'd say about, I got my license, got done, ready to get licensed, probably like 2.5 weeks.
Wow. So, on it quick. Yeah, that's the thing. There has to be that set time. Just like with the new agents coming in, it's like, guys, get the testing done 2 weeks, schedule your test prior. Yeah. Right. To you're done. So you have a goal to attain, right? You got to get the 52 hours done by then.
Yeah. I think that's what did it quick for me was I booked the test. I booked the exam first. So it forced me to get it done, get the material
done. You had that goal to get to. Yeah,
that goal. And then that's what had got me, to get where I was at quick. So with the license.
Over 400 families later, huh?
Yeah, over 400 families
later. So you came in hot, bro. So let me ask you this, man. Obviously, a lot of people who are just dabbling, or there's this fear based around it, or they're just not that confident in themselves to get started, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe not everybody has $1,000 up front immediately in leads to cough up, right? How did you go about it?
Man, I didn't have $1,000 to cough up either. I mean, I was negative, because of the business and everything. I was backwards. I was upside down. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It was bad. So, I mean, with me, first things first, what I would say to any, agents in here that are in class, one thing that I made sure I did, because I was just so excited to get started. And I knew that, I believed in myself that I was going to do it. So I really got on the calls. I made sure I was on the calls. I made sure I was plugged into the trainings. This was before I even got my license back. I put my mind where it needed to be to when I was licensed and I got my first writing number, that I could just attack it the way I wanted to. So that was, first thing. And then second, when it came to the leads, and I knew that, I had to purchase leads, but I didn't have the money. I was willing to, to do whatever I could, so I had applied for a credit card, because the other ones were upside down. I think I got like a $500 limit on one. I bought some leads with that, dude. And just from that little $500 came, 4 families that I helped. And then I was able to invest and over again the next few weeks. And that just,
so like you were flipping it,
dude, just flipping it, And then I also was working some H leads. I asked my upline, hey, you got some old leads, you're just not working anymore, anything that's just old? And she's like, absolutely. He was like, yeah, I'll help you out. Gave me a stack of some stuff, and I hit those, dude. And I made I helped a lot of families off those too. So yeah, man, nice. I think if you want it, you can definitely get it,
Yeah. And I agree with that. Even, of course, not everybody has that 1,000 to come in to spend on leads. Yeah. But at the end of the day, everything is figure outable. If you really want to make it happen, you'll find a way. Absolutely. In your case, ask for the old leads, took out a credit card, $500 limit, sold a couple on those 2, 3, 4 families, flipped that money. So there's ways to attain it, right? It's really how bad do you want it? Are you making that you don't have that $1,000 as a crutch, right? for you to stop and just be on the sidelines and looking? Or do you pull a Daniel Rosales and put A, B, C, D and figure it out and become a Hall of Fame producer that first year, right? So that's the difference. So excellent job there, man. So how old are you right now?
28.
28. Okay, cool. We're the same age. 93 babies?
93 babies. There we go.
There you go. So me, I came from I was in finance before. I was in the auto industry. I was in finance before, right? And you have a history of sales as well. So mine was really hardcore sale. After the car deal, I'm the guy who took care of all the money and the contracts, then upsold you on $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 worth of extra products, right? That was a real sale. You at the booths, pretty much almost cold approaching and selling. That's a harder sale, right?
Absolutely,
Would you consider life insurance and how people request this information, right? Obviously, you're going to get hung up on. They're going to say they don't remember all that stuff. But the people you sit down with, right? Would you compare that type of sale in comparison to the sales that we came from? Or is it a lot more?
I would say like my thought process on it is like rejection is something that is necessary for success, right? Like that resistance you need to kind of get, and it's just I guess like when you can get somebody that might hang up on you on the phone, or they might say they're not interested. I would say the difference between what I did in the mall, Rob, was the people had no interest in my product. They were walking by the mall, going to buy a pair of shoes or jeans, whatever it was. I was selling hair straighteners and skincare products, so I had to approach them cold and pull them in. And then when I got them in to sit down in the chair, now I had to go into the presentation of getting them interested in the product, right? So what was really different was like the life insurance thing, man. They already raised their hand for life insurance. You know what I mean? So I'm still going to go through some objections, some deflections, but they already have interest in protecting the family. They already have interest of, that they had whatever reason they had went online, whether it was for burial insurance, they thought about something. There was something that was going through their mind at that time when they filled it out that had got them to fill it out and submit it, right? So it's just if there was people in the mall raising their hand, and they were walking and I knew exactly who to stop, my days would have been easier is what I'm saying. So definitely, from the two, it's a big difference with having the leads.
No, I agree too. Especially if you're doing on in home.
Hold on, I was losing you a little bit.
You just got to not mess it up.
Yeah, I was losing you a little bit. Hold on. All right, there we go.
Good?
Yeah, I think we're good. I think I hear you now.
Cool.
Yeah, man, but complete difference, you know what I mean?
Yeah, day and night. So you have a team going on right now, you guys, right? You guys do over 100 families a month, pretty much, correct? First year in the business, which is awesome, right? For your agents come in, and we've had this conversation. So you're trying to figure it out too, just like I am, just like many agencies are, right? The approach that you took before, bringing people in and telling them, hey, you just got to buy leads, this and this and that, in comparison to what we're going through, how you will get rejected, people will hang up. From before and now, are you approaching that different?
As far as recruiting?
As recruiting, yeah, and talking to your agents.
Yeah, I would say before, I think I was kind of sugarcoating everything. I think I was kind of just like, oh yeah, it's great. Like, you're gonna kill it. I feel like I wasn't being transparent enough and drawing out the expectations enough and kind of letting them know what it's gonna look like.
And what is it going to look like for a lot of the people here, right? Because we both go through this. Anybody who produces a certain amount went through this. So what are some things in the day-to-day that people should expect?
I think one thing that, I've always kind of started relaying to my agents now, and it's helped a lot, is that the activity level needs to be there, right? And if your activity is where it should be every day on dial day, on Mondays or on Thursdays, yeah, you're gonna get the phone. You're gonna get hung up on, right? You're gonna get hung up on. There's gonna be objections that happen. There's gonna be people that say they didn't fill it out. They're not interested. Now, these are just all natural deflections. It's all human nature, right? I talked about it in a podcast I just had with Paul, with the FFL West Coast on YouTube. You guys can check that out. But I talked about it because it's so true. It's like a lot of the things we're hearing on the phones and new agents on this call. You're gonna hear a lot of deflections and things that are gonna happen on the phones, but what you have to understand is that a lot of those aren't real. It's kind of just, it's just natural in us. Like, you know, me and Paul were talking about how we go shopping for shoes, or, you know, you go shopping for something that, you know, you want, and a sales agent comes up to you, says, can I help you with anything? You know, you said, I'm not interested, or like, oh no, I'm good, man, I'm just looking, right? But I mean, you know, you wanted shoes, you need shoes, you came there to buy shoes, but it's just the natural deflection that we do. So I think when you can understand that, and that you can understand that the person on the other side of the phone is just saying something, then it's really easy to kind of hold your posture on the phone and say, hey, that's fine, Mr. Smith. You know, obviously I don't call him by Mr. Smith. I'll say, it's okay, Joe. Hey, Joe, I completely understand. My job is actually just really simple. It's just to get you the information so you can know what the options look like. You know, it doesn't matter what they say. It's always the same thing. It's like, I agree with them. My tonality stays the same. So I could say, like, you know, this probably, Rob, as well, is like the most important thing is the phones, right? Like the
It's the
harder
gateway
part,
to business.
it's
It's
the
the gateway to
right?
business.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, make sure you guys are just focused on the phone training. If you stay plugged into phone training, that it's something I did, because Paul had his old office in Hesperia, and at the time when they had the work spots for everything starting up, there wasn't a lot of agents there. It was just me, pretty much. So one thing that I did that really helped me was that I had like Matt Smith's dial training in the back, or Paul McLean's dial training in the background on a video. So me hearing it while I was dialing, I was matching my tonality to them and able to kind of correct.
Nice.
And it really helped. It really helped me, man. It really helped a lot. I would say also, you know, for those booking appointments, one thing I did, Rob, was I just overbooked myself. You know, I did like 8 a.m., 9 a.m. I mean, 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 p.m. I just put as much people on the books each day as I could. Even if some appointments weren't strong like the other ones, I just wanted my day to be full of activity. Because one thing Paul told me in the beginning was, dude, get through your first 100 appointments as fast as you can.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, he said, if I can get through the 100 as fast as I can, I'm going to know everything I need to know. So that's what I focused on, you know, the first week of dialing, second week of dialing. I was just like, okay, you know, I'm going to come see you tomorrow. I'm going to come see you tomorrow. You know, even if some of the appointments were a little bit quicker than others, I wanted them to know I was coming to get in front of them, to show them some options. And that really helped, man. I think that kind of got me through all the different things you guys are going to see in the field and understanding the stuff you're going to hear and kind of getting you where you need to be. So, yeah.
I love it. The first 100 appointments, that's so real, because whoever hasn't fully started, or whoever's not where they want to be, you can at least make this consistent, right? So it becomes second nature to a certain extent. Like right now, if we get into an in-home, your closing ratio is probably 80% now in comparison to before, which might have been half.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's the objections, which are 4 or 5 objections, are always the same objections. The same 3, 4, 5 objections on the phone are always the same 3, 4, 5 objections over the phone. So it becomes like what you said, when it's a deflection, they're just deflecting. So it gets to the point where it gets very easy, more second nature for you to I guess you could say, inflect them back again, you know, so they deflect, you can bring it back and make more sense to them. Would you agree with that? Like, you're in home right now, right? Game changer comparison to when you started, correct?
Absolutely, dude. I mean, because there's so many different things that could happen in the house, and they're not really a big deal. But in the beginning, when you're a new agent, you know, like when I was a new agent, I mean, yeah, I came from sales, but guys, like, the sales thing is not like, oh, if you came from sales, this is just going to be magic for you. You're going to get out there, all of a sudden it's going to be printing money. It's not. I knew I sucked. I knew I wasn't good. I knew I needed to get in front of a lot of people so that I could get this thing down. I knew I was going to have an underwrite, you know, the underwriting with the medical stuff, hearing different prescriptions. I knew that was going to be different for me. And I called my upline a lot. I reached out to people when they weren't there, you know, and just ask people that have been there, ask people that have already done it for a couple months, and say, hey, I'm sitting with this guy. Do you got a minute? I'm sitting with John. John is diabetic with metformin, and, you know, I really kind of don't know where to put him. Do you know what I should do? And I would do that. I would throw some people that were producers for 3-4 months ahead of me, and I'd throw them on speaker, and I'd let them kind of, you know, interrupt the demo a little bit and kind of validate who I was. So I think it's like those kind of things, just making sure you're always reaching out for help, you know, and that you're really just, you know, getting in front of a lot of people, man. I would say that.
That third party evaluation, we talk about it a lot. If you're in the home and you don't know them, saying, you know what, let me call my senior underwriter real quick just to make sure we're on the best product possible, right? You tell them where to go, boom, 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 boom. It looks good for the client, right? It's a reassurance and a third party validating. Let's do this real quick, if you don't mind, Daniel. It's probably the same phone script as mine, pretty similar. A phone script. You mind doing that?
Phone script, yeah. You want to do like
Basic
a role
phone
play?
script. You want me to call me, or you want to do it yourself? Whatever's good.
Yeah, you want me to call you?
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Rob.
Yeah, this is Rob.
Hey, Rob. This is Daniel. I'm one of the local underwriters here in San Bernardino County, and I'm just giving you a call back regarding that request you submitted online for the life insurance protection. And I just had to verify the date of birth I had here, 04/22/1946. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. But you know what? I changed my mind. I'm not interested anymore.
Hey, Bob, no worries, man. My job's really simple. It's just to verify the information and make sure there's no fraud going on. Now, when you filled this out, were you just looking for information to just take care of a burial, or were you just looking for just some general life insurance information?
Well, yeah, it was supposed to be for burial, but it's too expensive right now.
No worries.
It's probably going to be too expensive.
No worries, Rob. I'm assuming you got contacted by some sales agents that went over some pricing. I'm actually just a field underwriter. I'm not a sales agent or a telemarketer. So my job is just to get you all the original options and information you wanted in the first place, so you can go ahead and compare and see the difference there. And the purpose of the call was just to verify the delivery address. I had 16305 Rock Trail Road in Apple Valley. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the correct address. So Rob, you got to come over.
Well, Rob, I really don't want to go out there myself. My job is really simple, though. I handle the medical part of things. So really, the carriers just want me to verify that you're not bedridden on oxygen and that you don't weigh like 800 pounds. That's not you, is it, Rob?
No, I don't weigh 100.
Got it. And really quick, just so I can put some notes down for you so I can get the right information out to you. Are you a smoker or non-smoker?
No, I don't smoke. I'm not a smoker.
You don't smoke. Are you working, Rob, or are you retired now?
I'm just part-time.
Part-time. Got it. Real quick, Rob, are you typically home in the mornings, or the afternoons usually better for you?
I work in the morning and I'm home later.
Okay, I tell you what I'll do. We're running behind here at the office, so I don't have a whole lot of time. They have me dispatched out in the area the next few days. So tomorrow and Saturday, like I said, we are running behind. So what I'll do to kind of accommodate your schedule is I'll put you in between appointments. I could either put you in between appointments at 3 o'clock, or I could put you in between appointments around 5:30. Which one do you think would work better for you?
It's not going to take long, is it?
No, it just takes about 10-15 minutes. And unless you have more questions for me, it's usually pretty simple. They just have me go over the programs really quickly. So do you think the 3 would work, or the 5:30?
5:30.
5:30, got it.
I should be there.
No worries, Robin. Can you do me a favor? Can you go ahead and get a pen and paper for me so I can give you my information?
Yep, got one.
All right, Rob. So my name's Daniel.
Okay.
And my state license number is 407-6893. Did you get that?
Okay. Yeah, I did.
Can you read that back to me real quick just to make sure?
470-8693.
That's 407-6893.
407. Got it.
Yeah. Now, Rob, real quick, I heard you say you should be there tomorrow. Do you think you'll definitely be there? Because like I said, we are running behind, and it's just going to take about 10-15 minutes. So all I ever ask and expect, Rob, is that you are there tomorrow between 5:30, 5:45, just so I can get this to you. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, I'll be here.
Got it. Okay. Well, hey, my name again is Daniel. I look forward to meeting you, getting this information, and closing out your file. So you have a good rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow. Or I'll see you Saturday, or whatever. Yeah. So
beautiful. So that was sorry about the objection. I hit you with 5.
No, I like it, dude. It's good, dude. I like it. No,
but it's more real life, So
yeah.
No. That was same tonality. Everything was perfect. So go over real quick what you just did when I hit you with stuff.
So I would say first,
because your tonality stayed the same. You said perfect every time. You addressed our situation real quick, what I said, and went right back to phone script, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, I agree with the objection, and then I would answer it right shortly, and then I'd ask another question to get back in control. So he said, "Hey, I'm not interested." I say, "Hey, that's perfect. I completely understand. No worries." And then, it depends on how the conversation's going, but it's always the same. I agree with them. I answer, and then I ask a question. Okay. So I'll say, "Hey, Rob, that's fine. No worries. I completely get you're not interested." When you were interested, Rob, when you did fill it out online, because, I do have your information here. So when you did go online, were you just looking for just a basic quote? Were you just looking were you kind of just looking around? Do you remember kind of why you went online?
Nice.
Then he'll answer, then he'll typically they'll answer, they'll say, yeah, man, I just wanted to know, some general information, but now I changed my mind. Oh, hey, got it, man. Hey, listen, I'm that's exactly why I'm calling you, Rob. I'm actually just the underwriter that handles getting the information out to people so that they can compare review options. And then I'll just go back into the next part. So I guess it's just always, Rob, like agreeing with them, answer it shortly, but then ask a question to get back in control so that you could keep carrying the call where you needed to go. So
nice.
But yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Good.
So and then I would
That's
say
better call than mine for sure.
Another thing is
like, dude, I got an availability. Yes or no? All right. So excellent job.
And then another thing was that when you said I should be there, like I like to make sure that they understand, hey, look, I'm running behind, so I'm important too, right? Like I don't got all the time. So hey, like Rob, like all I ever ask and expect is that you're there tomorrow at 5:30. Is that fair enough? So like I do little things like that to really, lock them in, just so that they know, like, hey man, I'm not like, some delivery guy is gonna drop something off. Like I got a lot of stuff I gotta do. I got this gap, I'm giving it to you. It's that important. So be there for me. And yeah, that's what I've done. It's worked real well tying them down.
Yeah, that was good because even when you said it, I was like, oh, okay. It's something, it's almost like a trial close. You closed me again. Are you gonna be there or not, bro? Right. Have you been touching on the telesales or not really?
Yeah, I've been doing the hybrid approach. So I'll do telesales when I can. And, usually what I do is I ask them like, hey, are you, we have two ways we can do this. Either one's over the phone, where we could just kind of take care of it over the phone real quick, or we could do it in person. I said, how would you like to do this? And then they'll say, well, virtually, right? Someone will say virtually, I'm down for virtual because I'll tell them it's either a Zoom call or on the phone. And then I tell them I'm going to need some sensitive information from you. I'm going to need some sensitive information based to, see if we can qualify you, see if we can get you approved. And I'm going to go ahead and send you my license. And then I'll ask them, do you feel comfortable giving me this information over the phone? And then, some will say yes, and I'll get them approved, dude. We'll get them covered and going. And some will be like, no, I don't ever do that. So I'm gonna say, no problem. Well, I'm actually, they actually have me in your area tomorrow. And then I'll book the appointment, like that's how I did it with one earlier today. So yeah, just depends.
Nice. And over the phone, are you is your script pretty much like if you were in the home, just a little faster, I'm assuming, a little condensed?
Yeah, pretty much. I when I do all the over the phone sales, I have that insurance toolkits thing. I don't know if you've seen it before.
Oh, that's key. The insurance tool.
Yeah, insurance toolkits. Yeah, with the phone thing, it kind of helps expedite everything because I right away go into everything as an underwriter because I'm asking for the date of birth, the prescriptions, and then when you enter the prescriptions on that tool, it tells you what they're taking it for. So you're able to ask those additional questions. So on the phone, I sound more like what I told them, like, hey, my job, I handle the medical part of things, see if we can get you approved. After I can see, what your options look like, we're going to go over, what's best for your budget. And then we're going to just simply choose a plan and see if we can get you approved there. And it's usually really simple, really straight to the point, really just going over their meds so that I don't waste any time with submitting an app with the wrong carrier.
Yeah.
And then just
going
direct to there. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm getting into the telesales and more of the phone thing right now. I should have probably started a little while ago, but from 3 weeks ago until now, I was overthinking it the whole time. Right. Just like even when people just start here and you're in the field, just overthinking it the whole time.
Yeah.
Right. Because the concept is very easy, what we have here. Right. The concept, what we have here is very easy, but it's actually doing the work. It's actually doing the work behind it, man. And obviously we've seen you do that. So new agent coming in, before we open this up for Q&A, a new agent coming in, they got a few $100, they don't know if they can fully do this. They just want to make, another 7, 8, 9 families a month, right? Mindset wise, if you can go back, from your first month, or even right now, seeing the new agents come in, and there's always that fear, I think, is what holds a lot of people back, right? What would you tell your day one self?
I'd say get your hand on a good stack of leads. I'd say quantity over quality, right? I'd say, I now work a lot of 3-month-olds, a lot of 1-month-olds, simply because I can get a stack, leads. And dude, those are a lot of those leads I'm closing telesales appointments over. Dude, a lot of those people haven't been helped. This lady yesterday was a lead from a year and a half ago. I went into my CRM and I went to the first page of leads, or it was like a year and 2 months, but I looked at my first page of leads. And I just started dialing through them, and I booked 2 appointments. And a lady yesterday I helped in 29 Palms. It was, a $31 a month policy, but she gave me a hug and she was so appreciative. And she's like, thank you so much. But it's just like, it's just like, there's so many people that haven't been helped. So I think what really helped me, Rob, to answer your question, was to take the emotion out of dialing, right? I think that when I first started and I had the $500, and then the next week came, was holding on to the money, right? Like if you made money next week, not reinvesting the money. Like that was something I would tell myself, that I probably would have helped 600, 700 families if I wouldn't have been, as I got paid, so hanging on, because I wasn't wanting to keep going back.
Yeah, because you're making a lot of money.
Yeah. So I'd say if I could tell myself one thing, it'd be like, just trust the process and trust that it works, because it worked the first time. So just keep doing it. Just keep that consistency with buying the leads. And also, if you're a new agent on here, getting a stack, if you have $300, you can get a good amount of leads for $300, and it takes the emotion out of it when you have so many leads to dial. So you're able to just kind of move on.
So those aged ones are very important.
Yeah.
What are they? $2-3 a lead?
They're $3, dude.
$3. Yeah.
They're $3. There's even sometimes they're like $1.50, but the $3 ones, there's even the 1 month olds are only $1 difference. I think it's like $3 and then $4.
Yeah. Now, so imagine somebody bought 80, 90 of those, right? For $350. Let's say they sold 2 out of the 90.
Yeah.
Right. You'll 5x your money right there, even on a small policy.
Yeah.
Right. So that's great. Yeah. Thanks, bro. I'm gonna open this up for Q&A. Some of our leaders, Chris, Vita, Joe, Sean, actually anybody. It can be anybody. Deanna, Crystal, guys. So 28-year-old Hall of Fame producer. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead, unmute yourselves and ask away, please.
Hey, Daniel. Joe here.
Hello, Joe.
Great stuff, man. Just want to pick your brain regarding. We were just talking about just a couple of minutes ago about reinvesting back into your business. What would you recommend as far as like a rule of thumb of a percentage that for sure this agent, the new person, needs to like put back into leads to keep the ball rolling like you did in the beginning?
I think for a new agent, like I said before, I think just making sure you have enough leads every dial day. So are you full time, Joe?
Yeah.
Okay, so Monday you dialing, and then Thursday you dialing. You sticking like with the. Okay, cool. So I would say just making sure Monday you have 80 to 100 leads, even 150. Like I just make sure I have the numbers in my favor every dial day. So I don't really calculate how much I'm gonna spend, or like I kind of get a diverse selection, but I make sure I have a good amount of leads to dial that I'm gonna be able to get 12 to 15 appointments out on every dial day. So just make sure you have a good stack of leads, and that could look different, like we just talked about. Maybe your budget's different, right now, and those $3 leads we're talking about that are in the CRM right now, and there's a ton of them. Getting a good amount of those, and then you're gonna go help a couple families in those stacks, and you're gonna be able to kind of just keep 10xing that down the road. So I hope that helps.
Good question.
Yeah, no, because typically like new agents, like you said, once they get that commission, like they don't want to let it go.
Yeah.
So if I could tell them like, hey, you know what, you're probably gonna need, 40%, 20%, whatever it is, to like on your whatever commission, so you can make it a habit.
Well, now I would say after, definitely, like even if it's like, let's say like they're helping their first couple families, dude. I mean, $1,000, a week, is ideal
to make those 20 plus families a month. Yeah.
And if you already have helped families to where you could take that out of what you did and just keep reinvesting that, because if you help 5 families and you get there, you could pull 1,000 out. You can keep reinvesting, and you're playing with the house's money at that point. So just keep that mindset. And if you could build that with them, I think that's something I really worked with Chase. He's one of my agents. Is when I told him about the casino, how the casino works. I kind of told him, hey, you like to gamble? He said, yeah. And we kind of talked about that. And I said, well, when you go play blackjack, you put your winnings to the side. And, I kind of broke it down that way, because that's the way it was broken down to me when I got the concept, and it really helped him. So I think that, just finding a way to kind of break it down to them to where it makes sense would really help.
Appreciate it, Daniel.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Good question. Anybody else, guys? When you were talking about the house's money thing, so you put your winnings to the side, right? And then kind of what you have left over, you put back in, right?
Yeah, dude, you know what's funny? You know what's
that?
funny, Rob? You know what's funny, dude? Is I was just in Vegas last month, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I went to go plug into Andrew Taylor's office. And what's funny, dude, was that like I've always liked playing blackjack, and I've always go play blackjack, whether it's Morongo or was in Vegas, whatever. I was never really that good, like, because I'd always stay in the game and I wouldn't do that, right? So I'd always just end up losing all my money or whatever. I never had like a structure. And this last time I went, because the concept that got me in the lead spending, dude, I started separating, right, my winnings, and then I kept reinvesting the same amount. And I just played with the money that I started with. So I played with that same $100, and I had 300. I kept separating it, and at the end of the night, I had like made like $700. So it was just like kind of crazy to think about that. I actually really was already kind of used to separating now, since I've been doing that with this business, dude. Like the same $1,000 will take you down the road, and you're going to keep helping. That's going to build that consistency of seeing the same amount of families helped every week, every month, because you keep putting the same amount back in. So just that consistency, brother, I think that's huge. And just understanding that that's the same money you started with, and just keeping it going, and don't hang on to all of it. I hope that helps.
Yeah, that's how you that's how, when you really never have to use your money again, you make that good, proper investment. Mm-hmm. You stay diligent on the activity, you get the return on that investment, which in this case is the leads and the sales. And then you never have to take money out of pocket again. Yeah. Right. You just keep it flipping. Like you said, you just keep flipping. That's how it's carried me throughout last year, for sure.
Yeah, dude, definitely.
If anybody doesn't have any more questions, Chavez, Vita, everybody.
Hey,
Daniel,
question.
thank you. Chris Chavez.
There he is.
I have a question.
And then Jared next. Awesome. What up, Jared?
Hey, Dan. Hey, thank you guys. One question, Daniel. You had mentioned when you're going through the questions for the underwriting questions, what tool are you using for the prescriptions and to make sure you're getting all the prescriptions? What did you say?
Are you doing field date? Are you doing on the field, or are you on the phones?
I'm doing both, but I'm having an issue because I just started getting people qualified with the right company, like making sure I get all the prescriptions and find out what's going on with them before I submit the application.
For in the home, there's really good cheat sheets that are available on the website. I think
we can send that out. Yeah,
I think Rob can get that to you. Rob can get that to you. Rob knows what they are. They're the the cheat sheets. I think that would be your best bet because you're just starting, right?
A few months. Yeah, I've been here for a few months.
Because when you're in the home, like it's basically going to have like the main carriers you have, and it's going to show you, the things that they accept, decline, and it's just right there, pretty much laid out.
What about telesales? Because I'm also doing I'm at home doing a lot of phone calls. I have a dialing system, so I'm doing my best to do telesales, but I'm finding that I have to go in the field also. What would you recommend for telesales?
I would recommend, man. Honestly, dude,
it was the FFL Insurance Toolkit, right?
It was FFL. Insurance Toolkits. Insurance Toolkits was the website for the thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Insurance Toolkits. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Absolutely, brother. You're welcome, man.
Yeah, that one is clutch, especially in the beginning.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it helps out.
But America all day, people. America.
Yeah, America is definitely the carrier you want to go with. You don't want to deal with, like I said, America is number one. If they come back, then that's when I go to Toolkits, and that's only when I'm over the phones.
Exactly. Unless it's something dramatic. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Chavez, you had a question, bro?
Yeah. Hey, Daniel, thank you, man, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to, share your nuggets with us, bro. Coming from a Hall of Famer, it solidifies what you're doing is working. So how can we as agents in building a team, how can we encourage our team to stay consistent when they're not seeing the results that, maybe a lot of other a lot of other folks aren't getting, you know what I mean? When they're following the system and purchasing leads, or maybe they're not purchasing enough. Like, how do you keep that momentum going and keeping them encouraged in that aspect?
Well, I mean, first of all, I think leading from the front's a huge deal, right? I think like you being consistent, you doing those things, and then being able to kind of see that you're always leading from the front. But I make sure that I get them around me, get them around the environment. Like, it's one thing if they're not seeing the results, but it's another thing. It's like if they're not seeing the results and they're sitting on their couch at home, right? It's like, dude, like, are you plugged into an office? Like, are you around me? If you live local to me and you can come, or if you're in a 45-minute radius for me, like, come dial with me, come to the office. And that shows me a lot when they show up and they're in front of me at 8 a.m. and they're ready to learn, you know, because they know it's real and they know what it is. So they want to get better, and they know I'm the one kind of putting in that consistency. And that's what Chase did. And that I'm nobody special. It's just that Chase wanted it just as bad as I did. And Chase got around me. Chase got around other producers. Chase surrounded himself around different people. He was plugged into the calls. He asks good questions. Like, those things are important. Those things are super important. Yeah. So I would say definitely, man, like, for anybody you got on your team, any agents, is just get them around the right environment, get them plugged into an office, get them plugged into you, and just keep leading from the front, brother. You're killing it, dude.
Awesome. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate you for sharing that, man.
Absolutely, man.
Awesome. All right.
Cool,
any final questions, folks? We've hogged him.
No, you guys are good. You guys are good. You guys are good, dude.
The premium's there. Go ahead, Deanna.
What it did. Hey, Daniel. So good to hear from you. So proud of you. Does your script change at all when you are calling age leads, or is it very consistent? Or are you mentioning it's been a year, or are you just going through with the regular script, not even acknowledging how long it's been?
That's a really good question. And I'll say that I do adjust my script a little bit. I have adjusted it, and it's had worked really well for me. Where if I'm calling you Deanna, right?
Yeah.
I gotta be Deanna, and I'll just do it with you. Ring ring.
Yeah.
Deanna.
Hello?
Hi, Deanna.
Yeah.
Hi, Deanna. This is Daniel. I'm one of the local underwriters here in San Bernardino County. I was just giving you a quick call because we have a file here open in your name, and I'm trying to get this closed out. It looks like whoever had went out and helped you never updated the file here. So we're trying to figure out what happened. Do you remember who came out and helped you with that life insurance request you had submitted about 3 to 6 months ago? You remember who came out and helped you out with that?
Nobody ever came out.
Nobody ever came out. I apologize, right. Deanna. I'm one of the supervisors kind of just helping out in the area. And we're just looking over these requests to make sure everybody got the information. I tell you what, I'll go ahead and do, Deanna. And I do apologize due to COVID. It's been a mess here at the office. They have me in the area the next few days. Go ahead and get this to you and make sure you get it. Are you home typically in the mornings or the afternoons?
Morning.
So it's typically like that. Okay. I adjust my script on older leads to, hey, I'm just calling you to close out a file. And what I've gotten from that is everybody wants their file closed out. They're like,
right,
what file? And I'll tell them, well, let me validate this is you. I have the date of birth. They're like, yeah, that's me. What file? And I'm like, well, this is regarding the request you had submitted a few months back. Do you remember who helped you with that? And if they'll either say two things, like what you said, nobody's helped me, or they'll say, oh yeah, some girl came out, or some girl came out, or yeah, I already took care of that. Okay, awesome. Do you remember what his or her name was? I want them to think that we're with the same, like they're from my underwriting office.
Right.
And I'm just trying to update the system here. So then it allows me to ask questions and say, okay, do you remember how much they covered you for? Oh yeah, it was like 20,000 or something. Okay, 20,000. And then how much were they charging you every month? And then they'll tell me, but then I'll be like kind of, seeing what the situation looks like. And then that's when I'll hit you, Dana, are you sick or something? Do you got some serious medical conditions? And they're like, no. And I'll be like, okay, because there's a red flag popping up here. It looks like you might be paying a little bit too much than you have to be. And I'll say, hey, listen, Diana, don't worry about it. This happens all the time. My job's simply to make sure that it is what it's supposed to be. If it's not, I'll fix it. If it is, we'll just leave it alone. And they have me out there reviewing other policies in the area tomorrow and Saturday. Is morning usually better for you, or afternoon to come make sure this is good? and then they'll pick a time. I'll get out there. 9 times out of 10, guys, I'm replacing policy.
Fire right there.
So fire.
Yeah.
So
Bam.
fire.
Good question, Deanna. Nice.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Yeah.
That
So
bam.
good. So good.
That's another 15 policies a month right
There
there.
you go. Give that a
Yes.
try.
So
There you go.
See, when the vein comes out, you know it's for real.
dope. Thank you. I appreciate that. That was dope.
Solid, bro. Solid.
You're welcome.
All right, guys, we'll have time for one more question. Anybody? El Fuego, Daniel Rosales. All right, guys. Daniel, bro, I appreciate your time, man. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much for pouring into the team, dropping these nuggets, literally tangible stuff that we all can back. So
Absolutely, man. Thank you for having me, brother, man. Man, seriously, thank you for having me. It means a lot. Your establishment, everything you and Bruce are doing with your guys' teams, dude, it's inspiring, and keep crushing it, man. And I'm always here, dude, if you need me.
likewise,
Hey,
bro.
good to be on the call with all you guys. You guys all take care.
Anytime we can
Feel free to
return
reach
the
out.
favor as well, man. Appreciate you.
Absolutely, brother. You
All
take
right,
care,
well,
man.
I'll see you in the next couple weeks, D.
Absolutely, dude. I look forward to it. You guys
Yes,
take care.
sir. Take care, everyone.
All right, brother.
Bye.